if you don't look at just the quality, you just look like how do mistakes happen, right? A lot of that's usually in miscommunication rooted in that, right? And so miscommunication can be multiple layers. So miscommunication could just be misunderstanding. Like, oh, I thought you meant this. It wasn't documented cleanly, or the instructions weren't clear, or clarity. Certainly language barriers, if you have US and foreign-based teams, there's obviously room for misinterpretation. But miscommunication can also mean that, someone just grabbed the wrong version, right? So when you're doing design and manufacturing, you're constantly making revisions to content. And so it doesn't necessarily mean that the content wasn't clear or room for misinterpretation. It's just someone grabbed the wrong version. And they weren't, so like, again, hypothetically, let's say one manufacturer was building the frame to the door, and then the second manufacturer was building the door itself. And at point A, the designs they made it cleanly, right? But then whatever reason, let's say someone made a revision to that change, to those designs, the door frame and the door itself, that now made the original design incompatible with the new design. And so now one manufacturer gets the new revision, but the other manufacturer, for whatever reason, didn't. And so now they're making products that are incompatible with each other. Not recognizing that, right? Not knowing that, oh, I don't have the latest revision. Or not knowing, oh, you two aren't building off the same spec, right? And so that's what I also mean by miscommunication, right? Misinterpretation. And so that is often rooted in workflows, in policies, in data tools. Like how do you migrate? How do you disseminate information, right? How do you ensure that everyone's working on the latest revision? How do you ensure that everyone gets, how do you know that people are actually getting the updates, especially when you use dispersed teams, whether they're your employees or contractors? It doesn't matter. You still have to manage that data dissemination, right? Which is again why Duro exists, is because we strive to make it simpler to disseminate that information and simpler for one to find the information. So there's always going to be a case where someone wasn't on some distribution list for the initial announcement of a change. It still should be easy for someone later on to go and find out, hey, was there a change to this? Right. And so that's been certainly in hardware design and manufacturing, that's been a huge problem when you have so many distributed teams and different disciplines in that, each discipline has their own processes, their own tools, their own vernacular, again, sometimes their own cultures and languages. And so there's always been a lot of overhead to make sure everyone has the right content and everyone has interpreted or understands it properly. And so a lot of work is often spent double, triple checking who got this information. Did you get it? Please verify, this kind of stuff. And a lot of unnecessary overhead. Again, a lot of this can be solved, not 100%, but a good part of it can be solved with good technology, right? And policies that rely on the technology to catch us. Because humans, we make mistakes. It's just a fact, right? Humans make mistakes. Humans are inconsistent. A lot of subjectivity. And so when you take that ownership off of the human to manage the data, it makes it more consistent and more reliable.